Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be testing out the brand new Morphe x Jeffree Star collaboration take 2. So this is his second collaboration that he's now done with Morphe. I didn't buy, this collection also included an eyeshadow palette and setting spray. The setting spray is on order, so it should be delivered to me this week sometime. I quite like the continuous setting spray by Morphe. I think it's inexpensive and it does the job. So that's that one there is coming hopefully later in the week. The eyeshadow palette, I didn't need it, and honestly that's why I didn't buy it. I already own quite a lot of Jeffree Star's eyeshadow palettes, along with Morphe palettes, eyeshadow palettes as well, so I just didn't feel that that particular palette had a place in my collection, so I decided to pass on that. However, I did decide to go ahead and pick up the brushes. So I was in the market for some additional eyeshadow brushes. And when I saw these, I thought, yep, I'm going to give these a go. So the first collection that he released was brushes, and I didn't pick them up because for me personally, they just weren't my style. I thought they were quite expensive for what they were, and I think there was a lot of reviews and things like that done to say, you know, these are pretty cheap brushes and they've just put a really high price tag on them. So for me, that it was a hard pass for me, that particular collection. However, these, I actually already own the Morphe x Jaclyn Hill brush sets, and I really like those brushes, and so I felt like these were quite similar, and I thought that these were hopefully will basically perform the same way. So yeah, for me, I could definitely see a place in my collection for these brushes. Now you do get 10 of them, and they are all eyeshadow brushes. So just having a look at them individually, I'll just hold one up actually to show you guys. So this is one of the synthetic ones. Do be aware that if you are a vegan or cruelty-free, these do have, I think there's 3. Let me just have a look. Yeah, there's definitely 3 natural hair brushes a part of this collection, so this may not be for you if you know you are cruelty-free or anything like that. It may not be for you in that particular case. But this is sort of what the brushes look like. So they do have the detail saying Morphe x Jeffree Star and the number of the brush down the bottom there. They do feel quite nice. They are quite like weighty, but I do think that has a lot to do with this little metal part up here. I don't necessarily think it holds any weight to me selecting this brush, if that makes sense, but it does, you know, it feels like it's got a bit of weight behind it, which would suggest normally, well, I don't know, does it suggest high quality? I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below. But anyway, it feels good, and that's, I guess, the point that I'm trying to make. So this one here is just, for me, I would either use this for concealer or just to pack on shadow. This one here is a synthetic, and it does feel quite soft and quite nice. So I definitely can see myself getting a lot of use out of this one. So what I thought, guys, is that I'll probably just go ahead and, you know, use as many of these brushes as I possibly can and create a look for you today. So yeah, if this sounds like a video you guys might be interested in, then please keep on watching. Okay, so I have already primed my eyes, and I used the Too Faced eyeshadow primer, just the original one. And I thought for shadow today, it made sense to go ahead and use a Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette, so I thought I'd go ahead and use the Jawbreaker palette. I did do a review on this one. If you haven't seen it already, I will link it up top now for you guys to check it out if you'd like to. But yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful, colourful palette, and I really do enjoy the way it performs. So I thought we would create something quite colourful today using this one. I'm really tempted to just basically plaster pink all over my eyes, and I think that might be the direction that I'm going to go with. So starting off with this brush here, so this is the JH. See, I'm so used to saying JH, my god, no, it's not JH. This is the Morphe x Jeffree Star JS5 brush. Natural hair bristle, just a nice little blending brush. And I'm going to tap straight into Bubblegum, which is this really light pastel pink colour. And I'm just going to start to buff that into my crease, concentrating the colour on the outside first and then moving it into my inner corner and just trying to keep it quite light towards my inner corner. So I feel like this is blending the shadow out quite nicely. It's really, really soft, which I appreciate. Like, this feels very, very comfortable to use. So yeah, so far so good. I am enjoying that. Okay, so the next brush that we're going to be using is this one, and it's called the JS6 brush. Again, this is part of the natural hair range. So this one here, as you can see, it's quite flat. It's fluffy, but quite flat, and it has almost like a bit of an arrowhead pointing up, and I really do like the shape and design of this. So with this one here, I'm going to go into the shade Cherry Wet, which you'll see in just a second is just this really beautiful deep pink color. Look at that. So much pigment, I love it. So I'm just going to start by working that on my outer corner and just literally tapping it into place. See, I just feel like this is moving the product really nicely. And just again with that, you know, taking advantage of that arrowhead, I'm just going to bring that through into my crease. Yeah, I really like this brush. I feel as though it has picked up the product and dispersed it quite nicely. It's sitting on all the places that I want it to be. So yeah, so far I'm really enjoying this one. Okay, so yeah, I have to say guys, I really do enjoy this brush. I love the shape of it. I love how it blends and how it disperses the product. I really, really like this brush quite a lot. So that is definitely a winner for me. Okay, so the next brush that we're going to use out of the collection is this one here. Now, I really like the shape of this. I like that it's domed and it's kind of like spreads out. This is synthetic, and this one here is called the JS12 brush. And what I'm going to do, I want to deepen out my outer corner just a little bit more, but not, you know, have it go too far, if you know what I'm trying to say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip this brush into the shade Licorice, and it's this really beautiful deep red color. Really, really love, look at that. Like, even actually just looking at that on the pink bristles looks so cool. So yeah, I'm just going to take this and start to sort of place it again in my outer corner, and just sort of in circular motions, keep it quite concentrated on the outer corner and sort of blend it into the rest of the shadows, taking it a little bit into my crease, but not too much, because I still want to sort of keep that dome effect. So swapping from a natural hair brush to a synthetic brush, you definitely do feel the difference. Not to say that it's more coarse, but it's just it's not as soft, I guess is the best way I can describe it. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just not as soft. And I feel like, I mean, I've always felt this way. I always think that you have more control using natural hair bristles than what you do with synthetic. But that's just my own personal experience and probably techniques and preference, to be honest. So yeah, I do feel like this is blending the shadow quite nicely. I think it's working quite well. Okay, so from there I'm going to use the JS number 8 brush. Again, very big blending brush, synthetic of course. Feels really good, feels quite soft. And I'm actually going to tap back into Bubblegum, now, which is the first shade that we used. To be perfectly honest with you guys, normally I would just go straight back in with this one, which was the first brush that we used, because I had already got bubblegum all over it. But for the sake of this video and, you know, trying to test out as many of these brushes as I can, I'm going to go ahead and use this one instead. And what I want to do is I'm just going to start by really buffing this color into well, above where my natural crease is, but essentially just into this area right here, because I feel like we lost a lot of that sort of soft pink when we started to add the more intense colors, and I kind of just want to bring that back a little bit. So I'm just going to sort of concentrate it just in this area here, just to sort of re-emphasize that bubblegum pink look color, I think is more so what I was trying to say there. So honestly, guys, this is very, very nice. This is very soft. I really did enjoy using this. I can see that this will blend just about any shadow out quite nicely. So really did enjoy using this one. Okay, next up we have this one here, and this is the JS11 brush. And I just want to show you, we also have this one here, which is the JS10 brush. So they're both extremely similar, just one slightly smaller than the other. This I think would be really great for, you know, cutting the crease out with concealer. This one here is going to be great for packing shadow on. So that is exactly what I'm going to use this one for. So I think what I want to do, because I have so much pink happening, I think I'm going to go in with the shade called Snack, which is this really beautiful pearlescent pink colour. Really stunning shade. So I'm just going to pick some of that up on this synthetic brush first off and see how it applies. So that's picked the shadow, the product up really, really nicely. Okay, let's see how it looks. I do like how this is applying. I like it's good. I just, when it comes to metallics, I'm so used to applying them with my finger now that I just think I prefer that effect, you know what I mean? But again, for the sake of this video, I definitely want to use as many brushes as I can. But I think I'm just going to go in, because I can't help myself, I'm going to pick some up on my finger and just really intensify it. Do you see what I mean? I feel like metallics just apply so much better with a finger. Doesn't matter what brand, doesn't matter how expensive they are. I've just always felt that way about metallics. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is take a little bit more because you can never have enough. So I'm going to take a little bit more of this. I'm just going to spritz it with some MAC Fix Plus. I think it should react just fine, and I'm just going to tap it in the center here where I want it to be really quite shiny. Okay, I feel like that's looking really cool. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm not going to take any more product, but I'm just going to go back in with this brush here. So this was the JS6 brush, and I had Cherry Wet on this particular brush, and I'm just going to sort of start to tap just around my outer corner, just to sort of blend the Snack shade and the Cherry Wet color together, just so it's a little bit more seamless. Okay, we're getting there. What are we thinking, guys, so far? Let me know in the comments down below about this look I've created. I sort of feel like I've seen everywhere lately, like strawberry and cream eyeshadow palette. And, you know, I think a lot of people are sort of capitalizing on that. And it just goes to show that, honestly, if you sit back and look at your collection, the odds are you probably can create what's trending now if you have a big enough collection. Certainly like what I do, you may not necessarily need to go out and buy, you know, that ColourPop eyeshadow palette or the Mani eyeshadow palette, or you know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually take your time and have a look at the collection that you already have, sometimes you can already find the shades and, you know, create the really trendy look without having to spend any more money. Okay, so next up in the collection we have this eyeliner brush. So I don't usually reach for these sorts of liner brushes, but I am curious to see how it works and if it works. So this is the JS number 14 brush. And I'm trying to work out what liner I want to do. I don't want to do black because I just think, you know, black's boring. So I'm thinking about using one of these liquid lips as an eyeliner. To be honest, I probably would have liked to have used Massacre, which is a very, very similar shade to what I've kind of got going on out here. But I can't seem to find it. I think I must have thrown it out because it was too old. So I think I'm either going to use Anna Nicole, which is this really orangey shade, or I'm going to use this really pinky color, which is Prom Night. Okay, so I have just mixed the two shades together, and that's what it's come up with, which is very, very similar to Mascara, so I think I actually might go with that. By the way, I hate doing liner on camera, so Ha ha ha, here we go. Okay, to start with, guys, I was going to be like, I'm hating this. I'm hating it. It's not working for me. But I've changed my mind. This actually is quite nice. I'm just going to quickly go ahead and finish this eye off of camera and be right back. Okay, we're back. Other liner is on. So I am actually really pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. As I said, initial thoughts on this, I wasn't enjoying it. The second that I actually started to do the wing part, oh my goodness, love, 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 love. I have hooded eyes, so as you can see, if I relax my face enough, you can see that my crease here literally will come all the way down, and it is quite difficult to get a nice liner effect, because often what happens is that if you go up too much and cross into this part where it dips, it looks so wonky. It doesn't look right at all. So you really need to get the angles, you know, pretty much spot on, and you don't have a lot of, you know, space to work with. So I found that because of how small and detailed this is, did the job really nicely. I also like the tip of it as well. It does have a really nice sharp tip to get that sort of, you know, sharp wing effect. So really, really liked, very pleasantly surprised by this brush. I really, really did enjoy how it worked. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move the rest of this bake away, and with that, any fallout that may have occurred, which I think there was only a little bit. There wasn't too much, which is pretty good. So just going to get rid of that. May as well do the rest of my face while I'm here. Okay, so now for under the eyes. What are we going to do? I think I'm going to keep it pretty simple. I don't think I'm going to sort of do anything too crazy. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this brush here. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use this brush. So this was the JS10 brush, and I'm going to start with Cherry Wet. Just take a little bit of this color. Really concentrated it at the tip of the bristles, as you can see. And I'm just going to start to work this along my lower lash line. That's performed fine. I mean, again, it feels very synthetic, but that's obviously to be expected. So the next brush that we're going to use is this one here, and this is the JS13 brush, small dome shape. A little bit, it's more compact at the top, which I like. And I'm going to dip into, I think I want to go with Licorice, which is that really lovely red color. Just tap off any excess. I love how it looks on the pink bristles. I think I've already said that anyway. So yeah, I'm just going to start to work this on the outer corner, and then really just sort of buff and smoke this out a little bit. Okay, so now I want to sort of, you know, make my inner corner pop a little bit. And this is probably the brush that I feel like is missing from this collection. So this is, of course, from the Jaclyn Hill JH collection. So this one is the JH42 brush. And as you can see, it's a very, very small, detailed sort of packing brush. I really love this brush for highlighting your brow bone, sorting your inner corner out. It's just really great for small detailed work. So for me personally, I sort of feel like this is probably the only brush that this collection is kind of missing. So I'm going to take the shade Jawbreaker, and this is a really lovely iridescent shade, and I'm just going to start to pop that into the inner corner. I don't know, I just felt like it needed it, you know what I mean? Anyway. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this. I've been waiting to use this brush, so now we're going to do something with these brows. Now, you guys are probably thinking to yourself, what in the absolute world is going on with your eyebrows right now, Victoria? Believe me, I know. I've been dealing with this for the last 6+ weeks. I've been trying to grow my eyebrows out because essentially I had them overwaxed and I lost the tail on both ends of my brows. So I'm actually going to a place called Amy Jane Salons, I think it is. They are in Melbourne, they're in Sydney, I think there's one in Perth, and they're on the Gold Coast as well. A lot of celebrities and like news presenters and you know, kind of famous people do go to get their brows done at these salons. So, you know, it's a little bit special. Of course, with that comes the price tag. But my first consultation, I actually felt really, really good about it because initially I was thinking I might need to get some microblading done or something like that. So to start with, you know, my consultant basically said, let's just grow them out and see what we can, you know, what we can do. So my appointment is in like 3 days. It's on Friday. I probably will film it because I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping I don't have to get the microblading done because as you can see, I really do have fairly bushy brows. So I'm sort of hoping to avoid that, but we'll see. I am super happy that he included this brush in the collection. I just think that they are so, so handy, having a spoolie and of course the brow brush at the end. Really convenient brush to have in your collection. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my Kat Von D brow pomade. I know, I can hear some of you already. The irony, I know. But I really like this brow pomade. I think it does a really good job. So I'm just going to quickly go and see if I can't define these brows a little bit. It's been so hard. Like I've sort of just been avoiding, you know, filling them in, sort of doing anything with them because I just don't want to draw the attention to like how ungroomed they are, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. That's where we're at right now. So I think it's doing a fairly good job of, you know, distributing the product. Okay, so I did enjoy this brush. I think it did the job fairly well. I feel like maybe it's a little bit too thick for my liking. I don't know, it probably does look quite thin on camera. I'm just going to see if I can show you guys. But for me, that's just a little bit too thick for my personal preference. So I really do like and probably do prefer the Anastasia brush. So this is what it looks like, not because of the size. If anything, I wish that this brush was the same size as this, to be honest with you. But the reason why I think I prefer this is it does, the bristles are natural hair. So I do feel that you just get a much more natural feathered effect using this brush. I also like how thin it is. So if I just try and compare the two, is this going to work? Will this focus? So you can kind of see the shape is definitely different, and I just feel like, I'm just trying to show you with it still focusing on the brushes. It's not going to do it. But I do ultimately just feel that this is a far thinner brush, and it just gives you that more feathered sort of finish, in my opinion. Not to say that this is a bad brush, I just prefer this one, if that makes sense. So yeah, guys, I think we are pretty much there. So let me just check. Oh my God, I've got one brush I didn't use. Okay, so this is the JS number 9 brush. It's a natural hair brush. Mine got a little bit damaged where, you know, in the delivery process, but that's nothing that I can't wash and reshape, honestly. Just a really big, fluffy blending brush. I feel that this is going to be very similar to some of the Jaclyn Hill brushes that I've got. Yeah, already I can tell you that I'm probably really going to enjoy this because it is natural hair, and I dare say would perform very, very similar to, say, this one here. It's just a little bit thinner, so you could probably get a little bit more detail work done with this one. So yeah. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly go off camera, finish my face, put some mascara on, probably some lashes, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this collection. And we are back, and you bet I added a little bit of glitter into my inner corner. You bet I did. You know I can't help myself when it comes to that sort of thing. So yeah. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and talk about these brushes. Right, so to get the pack including this little travel bag, in total, if in Australian dollars, it costs $64 for 10 brushes and this little travel bag. So honestly, I think price-wise, that's not too bad. I think they've actually priced it fairly reasonably. Overall, I have to say, overall, I really did enjoy this collection. I personally would have liked to have seen more natural hair brushes in the collection as opposed to just the 3 that are in here. But that's, again, just my own personal preference. This brush here, I didn't necessarily feel, I mean, it is good for detailed work, I suppose, but if I'm being honest, I probably would have preferred to have swapped this brush out for something like this, as I mentioned before, just because this is honestly what I feel like is missing the most out of this collection. But having said that, look, I really did enjoy using all of these brushes. I think they all performed very nicely. I was very pleasantly surprised by the eyeliner brush. As you guys saw, I did get a very nice wing effect using this brush, so that was great. And the fact that I actually went ahead and used the liquid lipstick with a little bit of the Inglot, what is this, the Duraline. So naturally liquid lipstick is going to dry down a lot quicker than what your average eyeliner is going to, and it's going to be different to work with, I guess is what I'm saying. So yeah, I was very, very pleased to see how that reacted with a different formula. The eyebrow brush I really did like. I love the size of this. I think this feels really, really nice and it's quite easy to use. Again, as I was saying, I probably would have preferred for this to be slightly thinner than what it is, but you can definitely make it work. So, you know, not the end of the world. And yeah, look, overall, I have to say, I think the quality is not too bad. I do, if you'd like to, follow me on Instagram because I will update you guys when I wash them, to let you know how they sort of, you know, coped going through their first sort of wash. Realistically, I probably should have washed them before I applied anything with them, but here we are. That's how I did it. And aesthetically, I don't mind the baby pink handles with the purpley pinky sort of chrome up the top. I don't mind the look of this at all. The other thing I will say is I actually quite like the design of the handles on these brushes. So as you can see, they actually go down, so they get thinner and thinner and thinner as they go down the length of the handle, and I like that because I find that it is actually quite easy and freeing to use, and you do have a lot of the weight up the top here. So again, it's very comfortable to use, it's very easy to use, and I like also storage wise when you pop this into, you know, a thing full of brushes like this. Ignore those, I need to wash them, but you know what I'm saying, they will actually fit quite nicely you know, into a little brush holder because they are quite thin at the end as opposed to having really thick handles. Well, I don't know why I can't think of the word handles at the moment, but anyway. So yeah, I do feel like that is a very nice design feature. I do like that a lot. So yeah, look, overall guys, they are my final thoughts on the brushes. I think that they are worth it. You can of course go ahead and use, I think there's, oh gosh, there's so many different codes now with Morphe that you can use to get 10% off your purchase. So with the code, I think this worked out to be something like $58 thereabouts for me. So you can use the code JSTAR. If you're not a fan of Jeffree Star, do keep in mind he has reportedly said that all of the proceeds of his code will be going to a charity. I do know that he does do a lot of charity work, but if you're not somebody who's wanting to support him in that way, I don't know why you'd be buying the brushes then, but you know what I'm saying. If that's the case, then there is an animal welfare code that you can use. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I'll Google it and put it down in the description box down below if you guys are interested. But again, that way you know that it's going to a really good cause. And yeah, they're my thoughts on this collection, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more if you haven't already. And as always, guys, I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. It means the absolute world to me. So leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on today's video, and I will be sure to catch you all in the next one. Mwah. Bye, guys.